It's technically natural selection,
if I take
but
rabbits, two rabbits and put them in a cage, you're telling me that neither one of those rabbits will ever get hungry enough to eat the other rabbit.
I don't know if they would
First of
eat
all.
the other one or just die of starvation.
Okay, so you're telling
It
me
depends
if
if
I
you're
put
if
you in a cage, right, with nothing, not even a can of tuna, just in a cage, right? And there's just one other person. You don't even know this person, right? And then you guys haven't eaten in like 2 weeks. You're gonna tell me that when the 1 month time runs around, you wouldn't consider clocking that dude, choking him out, and then feasting on the old innards. Never, not at all, huh?
but humans and rabbits are different.
Yeah, rabbits are more animalistic. They listen. Okay, so I,
But
I
they've
think
been
it's a pretty
bred
good
to be
plan.
dumb. If it was like a wild rabbit,
You
I'd
don't
say
have to
hell
be
yeah.
smart to know you're hungry. You got tummy rumblies. Okay, I'm
No,
just
you just
saying.
starve to death.
So you put two rabbits in a cage. One will be the victor, and you just do that with like. I'm pretty sure that's how. Not Dark Side. What's the other one? What's the one that Superman got beat up by in the Superman movie? Crap. Now I gotta Google. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that's the same concept. Like
Doomsday.
150 Doomsday. There you go. 150 rabbits later, you got a Doomsday rabbit there. Like eventually, the rabbit is gonna be stronger than you.
Yeah, but each time the rabbit kills a rabbit, you have to like nurse it back to health, right? Feed it,
Yeah,
get it back to
yeah. And the
100%.
thing
Then you
is,
put
the
another
thing
rabbit
is
in.
though that whenever you get injured, you come back even stronger. I think
It's like
scientifically
a saying.
speaking.
I
Yeah.
don't know
It's like
about that.
a
If
saying.
one of
If a
the
saying takes damage, he comes back strong.
Exactly.
but like
Vegeta and Goku.
what if the rabbit gets a crippling injury? He's just
Back
fucked.
stronger.
No,
You-
how's he gonna
you
get a
keep them in the
crippling
jungle.
injury though? Like everything can heal. They're just bags
No,
of
they're
meat.
fucking.
They're bags
They're
of meat with
fucking.
some bones. Bones can heal. Meats can heal. It's the
No,
same.
but what if one of them just starts fucking gnawing on a leg, and the other one's fighting back, and the fucking leg is a fucking goner, but the other one's
Oh,
just smarter and goes for the throat. Now his leg's a goner. He's
that
not gonna.
means that means the one that goes for the throw is obviously gonna win. That means the one that's smart enough to strike deadly in the beginning is gonna be the winner. So eventually
But
you'll
now he
have
has a fucked up leg.
but he won, right? But
That's what I'm
eventually
saying.
though,
He's
that
not
that
gonna-
will be a non-issue though, because when after enough rabbits pass, there'll be a rabbit who just won't lose, and then eventually one will finally take him out because he's smarter or stronger, and then you have the ultimate rabbit. You have the pinnacle of what a rabbit, the essence of what a rabbit can be.
I think the problem here is that you're gonna indefinitely go down rabbits because sooner or later your one rabbit's just gonna fucking die to another one, and he's gonna be faster and smarter.
Then you
What you
found a
should be
better
doing,
Yeah, then you have
I
a
know,
better rabbit. That's exactly what
but
you're
then
wanting.
there's
You're
gonna
wanting
be
to create.
another better rabbit. You're
Yeah, that's
never
the
gonna
whole point.
stop.
You just
Yeah.
200 rabbits down.
No.
You're
No.
out the best.
Haven't you seen like Gladiator? Actually, it might not have been Gladiator, but it's like, you know, you get a champion that can just kill enough people. Like eventually, he's just gonna be undefeated because you got the ultimate killer. You're gonna have the ultimate bloodthirsty,
No, but
war-ready rabbit.
this is where you go from natural, quote unquote, natural selection, and you do what they do with fucking racehorses. Is once he's won enough fights, you take him and you breed him, and now you have a son that's even better.
Wait, whoa, wait. Are you talking about so?
We
So
find
what you're talking
a
about is
prize-winning rabbit and then breed that rabbit.
no.
Yes.
What he's talking about is creating a male rabbit deathmatch league, and then a female rabbit deathmatch league,
No,
and then taking the
well, I mean,
winners
you
from
can.
both the champions from both, and then breed them to create the ultimate bloodthirsty rabbit. That's a
Because
really good
that's
idea.
what you're supposed to do.
Well, because
That's
because that's a good idea though, because it'll speed up the process. Now you don't have to wait on outside factors to like you don't have to wait on nature to create the ultimate rabbit because you're formulating the ultimate rabbit.
Yes, it's like when you have a really good racehorse, like you have Seabiscuit, you take the fucking mother of another really good racehorse.
Yeah, like the Lady Seabiscuit
Yeah,
equivalency.
well,
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know if women horses race or whatever. I
Whoa,
don't, I'm
whoa,
asking.
guy, come on.
No,
We live in
I'm-
the 20.
I don't know if mares
century.
race. Okay, I'm sorry.
Do mares race? In horse racing, mares and fillies have their own races. See? A small
Okay.
percentage compete
I'm
against
not-
male horses. See? Look at that. A few
I
mares have
don't
won
know.
classic horse races.
but you
including the
just get a
Kentucky
really
Derby.
fucking good horse.
Yeah, true. True. I agree
And
with this.
the thing about rabbits though is that they have a huge fucking litter. So instead of getting one horse, you get like 8 rabbits.
That's better though, because then you know which
I
rabbit
know.
is showing the best qualities, and you pick that rabbit out.
Yeah, they just fight to the death now. You just make the babies fight.
So let me pose you this question. So okay, so say you're doing it the traditional way. You're just taking random rabbits, throwing them in the cage, right? And you just keep replacing the one that
Put them
loses
in the
essentially.
grinder, yeah.
So how many iterations of doing this do you think it would take to equivalate to like just 3 generations of selected rabbits? Like how many natural rabbit cycles will it take to match 3 artificial cycles? Because
See
there's got to be a bell curve here. There's got to be a rabbit bell curve.
I don't know what the math is behind this and the bell curve equation or whatever,
I
but
mean, statistics says that eventually when you have 30 data points, it'll form a bell curve, and the more data input into this bell curve, the more accurate it will be. So like, so you have enough naturally selected rabbits, they're gonna show like a margin of performance that you can compare to, you know, to your manually chosen.
I think the thing is you have to think that the perks of being able to select which ones to breed is that you can pick the traits that you want and
Right, which will
and
speed up the
incorporate
process, like
those.
we said.
Well, yeah. So instead of like you could choose whether or not you want a smarter rabbit or you want a more aggressive rabbit, or you could try to
Okay.
blend those. And that's the thing with natural selective one is that it doesn't like you might not be able to make the perfect rabbit because you might get a really smart rabbit but not a very aggressive one. So when a rabbit attacks it, it's just smarter than it and it beats it with its brains.
Yeah,
But
but
then
it
a more
still wins
aggressive
though is the
rabbit,
thing. It still wins though, which
well,
means that it's
yeah,
showing the dominant trait regardless.
yeah, but then a more aggressive rabbit comes in and kills it. So now you just have now your champion's a more aggressive rabbit.
Right, which means that
But you're
the
just
more domineer, the more important trait for the rabbit to win, to survive, is that it's more aggressive. That means that being aggressive, is more important than being more intelligent. More intellectual in a rabbit sense, obviously.
yeah, but you what I'm trying to say is that, like you could have this flip flop between rabbits. Like you could just like maybe one wins a lot of fights, but then like one brings it to his knees and like yeah, you're progressing, but I don't think you'll never hit a perfect rabbit at that point because
So what you're saying
you're not
is,
you need to choose.
what you're
You have to
saying
be the
is,
god. Kind of.
eventually, one of those perfect, like a freaking pretty freaking close to perfect rabbit will appear, but that rabbit could just be having an off day, gets wiped out by an inferior rabbit, and then it just starts the process over again. Is that what you're hinting at here?
Like I'm not saying like an inferior rabbit would take it over, but like a lesser rabbit might kill it, or
That's
a
that's
rabbit.
what that means. You
Yeah.
just
Well,
repeated
not like
my.
I meant like I'm saying like maybe it's close to perfect too. Like you're getting there, but it's like you took a step back. Like cuz you don't get to you're letting nature take its course and nature doesn't always necessarily like goes perfectly, but if you like
I like that. Nature doesn't always necessarily goes perfectly. I like it,
I'm
my
re-
guy. All right, right on, right on.
but like if you like gene spliced a rabbit and
Whoa,
like
whoa, whoa, whoa,
created
whoa,
one
bro.
and that kind of shit,
We're getting into some heavy business. You
like
never answered
genetics, yeah.
my initial question. First off, before we get into this, because I feel like this raises important points, to our entire conversation. But what I'm the initial question that I posed to you is how many iterations of naturally selected rabbits would it take to equivalate to, let me just change the number, 5 generations of hand selected rabbits. And that's assuming that each litter is say 15 rabbits. No, 10 rabbits. 10 rabbits. So you're getting the best of
think
10 rabbits for 5 generations. How many natural
yeah.
selection iterations would it take to equivalate to that, do you think?
See, it's hard to say. I don't know the statistics or anything like that of how natural selection is compared to selective breeding. it depends on it. I guess it depends on the rabbits. Like
It all
like
comes back
like
to the rabbits. I think you
yeah. I
might be
don't
on. I think you might
like.
be
I
right.
don't know.
Right on.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
I don't know. I'm
Like
gonna
'cause-
I'm gonna guess that. I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say that it would probably take. I mean, if you think about it, 150 rabbits. That's a lot of freaking rabbits, man.
yeah, that's a
Like
lot. That's
that
the
that
thing.
150 rabbits, man. There's gonna be like a top tier, like cream of the crop rabbit rising to the top here. I think in the end, I think just odds will be that there's going to be this massive vicious rabbit that will probably rise to the top. Even if rabbits along the way do get wiped out by the inferior rabbit, but
Yeah,
I think that
the
I
inferior
think
rabbit will become better, anyways.
I would
It's
I would hypothesize that it would take 10. It would take for every one naturally selected iteration of rabbits, it'd have to be like 50 naturally selected rabbits before one, you know. I think there's probably a slope too. Like I think as
yeah.
out of each cycle of like rabbits you select, I think they get exponentially more like powerful, I
You
guess.
also have to. You have to take inbreeding into consideration too. You can't breed the same, like you can't have like a litter and then breed the
Oh
brother and sister
crap.
together because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that will hold you back.
Dude, oh my god, yeah.
Um,
So you would actually have to have multiple pools of male
You're,
and female
you're just
rabbits.
yeah,
creating. You're just
no.
creating what the natural rabbit habitat is.
Well, yeah. Now you're simulating the habitat by producing more mates, but you're trying to pick like mates that are gonna have the gene that you want or like the trait that you want that will be passed down.
God
But the
almighty.
problem comes is that to decide which one will like how many. So if you're like selected rabbits, your selected breeding rabbits are just like really bad at like they don't have any of the traits that you want. You're gonna go through like a lot of rabbits before you can or well
Yeah,
maybe like a couple rabbits before you can finally get like a good rabbit. But
that makes sense.
if you like are just like doing the natural process is that you might like I don't know, it just depends on the rabbits that you first select to like
Yeah.
how fast they match up and stuff.
Well,
So
that's interesting because if you did it the way that if we select rabbits, if we did it the initial way, we definitely run into inbreeding because we don't have multiple pools, and that's got to be a
yeah,
hindrance. You'd have all kinds of like rabbits with like floppy necks and stuff, and like friggin'
you'd get diseases
massive
and stuff.
gigantic like tails or something. So
Like,
like
I mean, even worse traits than that, you'd get babies
cancer
that
rabbits,
don't have like eyes. You don't.
premature, yeah.
They're missing body parts and stuff
Oh
like that.
no. God, yeah, we
Like,
would have shot ourselves in the foot with that experiment. I'm glad we didn't go through with it.
oh well, I mean, we have to, if we were gonna go through that experiment, we'd probably like want to write up a hypothesis and all the uh, wrong outcomes that could happen because of it, because you
Yeah,
don't want to not consider something like inbreeding. Because I mean,
yeah,
that's what happened with dogs. Because every dog breed was like technically like selectively bred
yeah.
to be
To
that way.
eventually they ran into problems with the selective breeding,
With with
like
inbreeding and that
pugs.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, like pugs, for example. Like they have lots of brachial issues because they have
Hmm.
like short, stubby noses, and I gotcha. Yeah, that
And
makes
like
complete
because of
sense.
inbreeding, they have they become more susceptible to diseases and things. So
So this changes the entire conversation. Like it might actually be better to just have natural selection do its thing, Mother Nature, unless you're pulling from multiple pools of male and female rabbits to keep enough genetic diversity in there to keep those rabbits, bloodthirsty, huge,
hmm
but not like deformed without like
yeah,
arms. Because an armless rabbit's not going to win a fight. I mean, I don't
it's
know
all.
that. I've never seen an armless rabbit fight, but that's my hypothesis.
I mean, you could also get a rabbit that has no teeth and stuff like
Oh
that,
yeah,
and
that'd be
so
useless. It'd be useless. What would it be able to
yeah,
do? It wouldn't be able to do anything. It'd just
feed.
be food.
Wouldn't a rabbit fight mostly with its claws? No.
I
Also,
think it would use teeth.
yeah, I think teeth. But you know what we also didn't take into account? It's like if you do. No, I guess you wouldn't fight the rabbit immediately after its victory because it has to be nourished back and get strong. Because if you just wait for them to
Yeah,
get hungry, it'll be super thin.
there's a lot of time that you have to do.
Yeah. Oh
So
man, each
the
iteration would take a while.
each natural the thing is that if you put two per like fairly nourished rabbits, I think it might take a little bit of time before they're hungry enough to cannibalize each other.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you'd also need to make sure that your cage is uh well equipped because they might try to get out, chew
Yeah,
out and
I
stuff like
mean, I
that.
don't think they'll be able to chew through a steel cage. I mean, I certainly wasn't able to. But I just
You
gotta
didn't try
say
hard
this
enough.
this was a very enlightening conversation. I don't know who you are, but
I'm
That's
but
my
I
I'm
just
Tim's cousin.
right on. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Oh, I'm glad we
Everyone,
said we're on a consensus. What was the consensus, anyways?
I don't know.
Right on.
It's hard to say. I think that's the consensus. We don't really know.
You hear that, everybody? That's the consensus. Love you all. Good night. Mwah.